I am Karen Abbago. I am from the Philippines. I was born in a family where we live in a province where families need to work in order to live. Therefore, education is not mandatory but a privilege to those who can afford it. I was raised by hardworking parents. When I was a child, my eyes were open to a belief that it is impossible for me to complete a degree and be able to enroll in college. And this was because we simply cannot afford it. As a child, I never experienced how to play and enjoyed my childhood. Enjoyment as a child is a fairy tale for me that time. I missed my childhood days. We are 6 in the family, and I am the second eldest. I took all the responsibilities when my eldest brother got married. I was exposed to multiple challenges since I was a child. My mom helped me to be brave. She was so strict, for she valued education so much. I remember what she told me. I have no legacy or treasure to give you. Pursue your education despite difficulties, because there's no way I can give you the best life, for I don't have it either. I don't want you to experience this life I have, because I was not given an opportunity to finish. While my mom worked as a street vendor, my dad is very supportive, and his dedication to work for us inspired me to pursue my education. I graduated elementary with flying colors, and this helped me to pursue to the next level. I was given the chance to study in a private school, and consistently I got multiple awards. I finished my college degree because of various scholarships given to me, and finally graduated with a degree of Bachelor in Secondary Education, major in General Science. I supported my siblings in their education and helped my parents with all the finances. By that time, I started working at the private school. I thought it was the start of a better life for us. But our family faced tremendous challenges that changed our entire life. My sister got married, and her daughter faced a serious health issue, and this required a huge amount of money, or we might lose the baby. At that time, I was so upset. While she was in that breaking point, deep within, I got so proud because I did not do the same thing. And I am the best among them. I am independent, and I have the power to control every family member. And worst, including my parents, because I thought I'm the great provider. But I was sinking. The Lord started to deal with me. Behind the curtains of success and achievements, I was hiding in darkness. I was living in sin. I was in a wrong relationship, and the strength that was within me was actually fear. Fear of being caught and exposed. All those years, my parents adored me for what I achieved. And this led me to being disrespectful of them, because I thought I don't need my parents. I thought that the love I got from a wrong person was enough to be happy and satisfied. Until one day my mom was diagnosed with dementia, and my young sister's daughter was in a serious financial and health problem. We were stuck in various bondages, and everything turned out to be a mess in my life. I felt all the burdens fell on my shoulders. And in my solitary moments, I know I am not happy. I know I was broken. I was crushed, and my life was scattering into pieces, and I was not free. I was hurt. I was in pain, and I am tired. Until God intervened. At that time, I don't know where to run. I could not remember the last time I prayed. I don't have any religion or relationship with God. My parents go to church, but I still don't understand why we were there. While I pretend to be strong, deep within me, I was dying, and this drove me to decide and try to end my life. It is useless anyway to live a miserable life. Then a coworker came, and I failed to do it. He talked to me and invited me to go to the church. I, together with my best friend, we went to Jesus' Door Church, and I felt a different type of peace I could not explain. I started writing my thoughts and isolate myself from people and deal with my problems all by myself. I continued working in an environment where I was judged because I was living in sin, and I was surrounded with gigantic problems that seemed impossible to solve, until God arrested me with His presence. I got hooked attending in the church. There was something in me that arises whenever I listen to each worship song, and this became my routine. I worked, then go to a chapel and write my pains in a paper and pen and cry to an unknown being. I was just crying, but the tears that fell brought relief to me in an undefined ways. All I know was there was peace, and that was all that matters. The presence of that comfort did not stop my problems. Instead, they began to elevate and multiply. But there was something within me that made me so strong to face them. So I continued going to the church, and I started hearing about God, raising my hand and praising God for the first time for all that I do not understand. And God spoke to me through His words, and these were the first verses I have heard from the Bible that seemed like God spoke to me directly. In Jeremiah chapter 30 verse 17, He said, "But I will restore you to health and heal your wounds, declares the Lord, because you are called an outcast, Zion, from whom no one cares." God started His works in my life. I learned a lot as I walked through the path He promised. He started working miracles after miracles. He brought my sister's daughter to life. She was not operated, and now she's a full-grown child who acknowledged the Lord's salvation in her life through her talents, shared in the children's ministry. My sister received the Lord Jesus Christ and started to build a strong foundation of Christ with her family. While I was battling with the previous family problems, I forgot about my personal life until God removed me from the wrong relationship and made my eyes open to what true love means. I started serving in the church as a gatekeeper. I became so thirsty to know more about Him, so I enrolled in our church development training and finished it. Then God promoted me to be a coordinator of the children's ministry. Then 3 years later, I was called to serve at the education ministry, then became a part of the Jesus is Lord Church preaching team. The Lord did not only promote me in His vineyard, He promoted me in my work too. I was transferred to the public school where I was paid even better. While Mom was in her battle of dementia, the Lord did not stop showing us His favor and provisions. He strengthened my family in our faith even more. I received those non-stop promises of God that were built in my heart and made me even more devoted to seek His face in all that I faced. God is not finished yet. After He dealt with me, He dealt with my mom and my other family members. I talked to God about my family's salvation and prayed for their hearts to be open. But God, in His mighty hands, worked in miraculous ways. I never stopped asking Him for His ways, because that time, my mom's condition became worse. I felt that healing is out of her way. While her condition got worse, we are drowning into financial bondage because Dad and I have no sufficient income to sustain her. So I prayed to the Lord, and I cried to Him saying, "Lord, I don't care, even if I work and work all day, and I don't stop. Whatever you want me to do, just heal my mom. Heal us, Lord." I received multiple humiliations, degradations, and shame because people see our family as one of the miserable families in our town. I can't blame them because physically we don't have resources. Sickness was abounded, and financially we were unstable. I could not find answer to all the questions I have to the Lord because I thought that when I began to be a Christian, everything will be fine. Yet the Lord taught us to call upon Him. In Jeremiah chapter 33 verse 3, He said, "Call upon me, and I will answer you, and I will show you great and mighty things you know not." He taught me to call upon Him, and in this call, He gave me my calling. He called me to open a children's ministry in our house. He called me to teach my students to seek His face. He gave me the opportunity to be a part of His kingdom business. And lastly, He called me to preach the gospel of healing while my mom was in the bed of sickness. Despite my doubt, I followed the Lord because I believe His restoration, deliverance, and salvation in my life is enough to say yes to all that He called me to do. It is not about me. It's because of Him. It's not because I need it, but because He is worthy. I may not have the wealth, resources, fame, savings account, and even rest. Yet while I faced that trial for Mom, I believe there's no other place I can go, that I believe the safest place except His presence. So I cried and poured my heart to the Lord, and God outdid Himself. After that preaching, my life was changed. 3 days later, after the series of medications, non-stop sacrifices, and 5 years of sleepless nights of taking care of my mom, the Lord took her in my arms after she received the Lord. I cried, yet my tears and my heart were full of gratitude and joy because her passing away was a manifestation of a deeper healing and freedom from the Lord. Only then that I understand that healing is not just physical, but more so spiritual. Deep healing happens in the spiritual realm. It happened in our family, and the Lord did it. The Lord healed my mom. He healed my brothers and brought them all to know Him and serve Him as their Lord and Savior. He freed us from different bondages, even the bondage of poverty, as He promised in Haggai chapter 2 verse 19. I am giving you a promise now, while the seed is still in the barn. You have not yet harvested your grain, and your grapevines, fig trees, pomegranates, and olive trees have not yet produced their crops. But from this day on, I will bless you. God changed my life. The faith He placed in my heart has healed me. He blessed me with a humble opportunity to work here in the United States as a language teacher, and I was able to continue to send 2 of my young brothers in college, and one had recently graduated with a degree of Bachelor in Secondary Education, major in English, and currently working in the Philippines as an English teacher, which had been my parents' dream for all of us, that they thought it will not happen. Now, I am walking in the promises of the Lord. I understand that it is not enough to know God. We have to experience Him. We have to experience His true love. We have to step in our faith and walk in the promises He gave us so He can move freely in our lives more than what our eyes and ears can perceive. The Lord has blessed even our dwelling. With the grace of God, we were able to buy a new house, and we will no longer live in the area of humiliation. The Lord restored me in all areas, even my personal life. He freed me from wrong relationship by giving me a man after His own heart, a right relationship orchestrated by God in His perfect time, a man whose heart beats for Him. And these are the very reasons why we need to celebrate His goodness. Jesus can bring back the life you have lost. He gave us His life. You can have that life in Him too, and you will have it abundantly. In John 10:10, He said, I have come so that you may have life and have it more abundantly. This means that anyone who belongs to Christ has become a new person. The old life has gone, a new life has begun. To God be the glory.